IHA's celebration of 25 years. The theme of tonight is past, present, and future. Tonight, we not only celebrate the hard work, but also the accomplishments, and to all of you. And Patricia Motter, the CEO and President, could not be here tonight, so I'm going to read some words from her. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this evening to celebrate IHA's 25th year. This is an exciting and meaningful event for everyone associated with our organization. I want everyone to know how very sorry I am that I could not be with you this evening due to temporary complications from vertigo. I think many of you know she suffered for years with vertigo, and her doctors have advised her to focus on her health. She's resting and would greatly prefer to be a part of the exciting evening, but she can't be here. Enjoy your evening, and I look forward to speaking with each and every one of you very soon. So just know that she wants to be here, and I hope everyone sends her well wishes because she's really struggled for years. So, I'm Carlos Klein, by the way. I forgot to introduce myself. All of us working, they've given me a script, so I kind of have to follow that rather than shooting from the hip as I usually do. All of us working together to support organizations like IHA, create vibrant, diverse communities where affordable housing choices are greatly needed. It is my pleasure now to introduce Pastor Ed Heim, founding board member of IHA, to give the invocation for this evening. Pastor.
What a crowd. Jerry Buse and I had said a couple of times already that from the very beginnings of the Western Maryland Interfaith Housing Development Corporation, that took us weeks and months to determine that name. To get to this day today, it's a very exciting time for us to see that. And so I do thank you for that. You may have seen my picture on the video clip. Oh, thank you. I've gotten a lot grayer in 25 years. And so I'm glad to see IHA is now working on senior citizen housing. So I appreciate that very much for you to do that. But one thing, just one memory, I do recall back November 1st, 1989, I had started working in Maryland and had come down to do some public policy work. And I got a call from my bishop, Morris Zumbrin, I'm a Lutheran, and he said he wanted to take me to a meeting. And I went to this meeting with him in Williamsport, Maryland, to meet with 50 other religious leaders called together by him and Bishop Frank Murphy, who's a benefactor still today for all of us. And I say, let's give Frank a round of applause. I'm sure he's aware of this time, and he knows that. But he was a blessing beyond words can express. But as a result of that meeting of 25 years ago, we all sit here tonight and are blessed and have blessed to have built communities. So let me offer a word of prayer. Lord be with you. Lord God, Master of the universe, we come this day with thanksgiving and praise. You have blessed the ministry of Interfaith for a season and have led us along the path of righteousness for your name's sake. We thank you for the vision placed within those who gathered 25 years ago and felt the blowing of your Spirit. In your presence, we have heard the call to house your children of all ages and places. For in the gift of home, we all find safety and a place to grow. Thanks for empowering those in Williamsport, Maryland, to begin the journey. We thank you for the gift of leadership of these years, for Jim and Tricia and all the staff who have given of their hearts to respond, for board members past and present who have dedicated their time to serve this holy calling. We thank you for Dan Ryan and those like him who have heard the call to housing justice, and for all who have followed his lead and become partners in this work over these many years. For government servants, local and statewide, who have assisted in their roles as public servants, we ask your blessing upon those who serve in the highest offices of our state. Bless our governor and direct his hands and feet. We thank you for all the volunteers over these years who too have heard the call to care, for those in housing stress and who have willingly offered their time, talent, and treasure to this work. Finally, Lord, we invoke your continued blessings on our families, those who live in these many units of love. May they know and find the stability for their lives and taste for the success of these efforts your love and blessings have provided. May they be open and turn to the presence of your Spirit, that they may share the compassion and grace that have come to them in these simple elements of brick and mortar. We remember those who continue to live in poverty and who struggle with housing. Keep us mindful of the continuing struggle before us to be a people and a nation of justice, that no one will be left behind, that we may seek what is right and good. Continue to feed us your vision of this reality, that we may follow in faith where you lead us. Be with us now as we lift the glass, celebrate a grace, acknowledge the blessings of time and space. We ask this through the God we name in our hearts. Let the people say, Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Heim. And by the way, just if you want to continue eating, fill up your plates, please help yourselves. We're going to continue through the program, and we're not stopping for eating. So eat on the go. And we're very grateful to Pastor Heim and the late Bishop Murphy and many others who saw the need for affordable housing and carried through their vision. And that's why IHA is here. So now, I'm excited to introduce someone who's very special to me, and many of you know him. It's the famous Yemi. He only needs one name. And through the Pillars of Frederick project, which Yemi created and pushed forward, it's the Pillars of Frederick is on the McCutcheons building in downtown Frederick, sort of between the creek and the train station. You see all these gigantic paintings, and he did all of them. He's an amazing artist. He does so many things in Frederick, and Yemi has graciously chosen IHA to be the recipient of the proceeds. Thank you. The proceeds from the silent auction of his amazing and meaningful collection of Frederick notables, because that's who all the paintings are. They're people who are no longer living, but were icons or iconic figures in Frederick. And Yemi, you've got the microphone.
Thank you very much, Carlos. I really appreciate you. You're a very feedback, yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know anything. You are a very, very kind and loving and giving friend. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And thank you very much for all being here. I wanted to thank a few of my friends, and they asked me to make it short, so I'll try. My friend George Delaplane, without whom I would not be standing before you today. Okay? My friend Dr. Lowe, my friend Dr. Hogan, my friend Scott McGurl. I really appreciate you being here. And the thing that makes Frederick so great is the love that we have for each other. It's a very long story that I could tell you of my journey from Nigeria through Manhattan to Frederick. I now live up in the mountains with the bears and the deer. But I don't like as much. I don't like the deer as much. But the deer and all these other animals. But the one thing I learned from my friend George Delaplane is the love of service, which I didn't have before I met him and Betty. And this is why I chose to give this gift to the IHA. And I would welcome the opportunity to come before some of you after this event to see about raising more funds for IHA. So I'm looking at you and I'll be calling you. So, and I just wanted to also let you know that we have these two here today that we'd be looking to have be part of your collection so we can help IHA out. And Robin asked me to say something, but I don't, he constructed it in a way that I don't know how to reconstruct it. So if Robin can come up and please explain how we're going to do it. And thank you for your service, all of us.
We just wanted to let you know that about 15 minutes after the program closes, you will have the opportunity to bid if you didn't get to upon arriving. So there are Yemi's beautiful prints here, and then there are some other things out in the registration room. So once the program closes, you can visit that, and then also you can speak to Yemi if you're interested in any of his other artwork. Thanks.
And there is nothing more compelling than to see the lives touched by the service that we perform as Frederick people to others. I'm going to introduce a video of Juliet, who is one of the recipients of IHA's help and love, and your help and love. And I just wanted to introduce that now.
Hi, my name is Juliet Hungerford, and I would like to share with you what IHA means to me. I never would have thought in a million years I would have an opportunity like this. Me, a homeowner. Life was not easy by far growing up. There were many times I would come home from school and our belongings would be sitting on the corner because we had been evicted. It was a horrible feeling. As I got older, I fell into the wrong crowd and dropped out of school. Life got harder until I had my first child and vowed he would never go through the things I had gone through. It took me years to pull myself out of the hole I had dug. I had another child, and I realized that I needed to lay a foundation for my children. I was sitting in front of the computer one day trying to figure out what help was out there for a single parent. So I Googled housing for low-income families. And the first thing that popped up was Interfaith Housing Purchase Repair Program. I looked over the website for 2 weeks on and off thinking, no way, they would never accept me into this program. After some thinking and really having nowhere else to turn, I decided for my kids I needed to at least try. The worst thing that could happen is I not be eligible, and that was a term I was too familiar with hearing. After contacting Carol Riggles at Interfaith and going over all my paperwork, she said I had things I needed to take care of regarding my credit to even be considered. My heart and spirit broke into a million pieces, and once again, I felt like I was failing my children. I remember telling her to give me 6 months and I would reach back out to her to see if I had a chance. I made a promise to myself and my kids that I was going to make this happen and give them something I never had: security and a place to call home. Those next 6 months were filled with nothing but work, a few tears, and more work to pay off debt. I was working 100 to 130 hours in a 2-week period. I missed out on a lot of time with my 2 boys, Xavier 13 and Amir 4. At times it was heartbreaking. My kids asking me to spend more time with them and why I work so much. I knew I could never find the words to explain so they could understand. So all I could do was tell them to be patient. Blessings were coming our way. After 7 months had gone by, I emailed Carol at Interfaith and I told her, I think I'm ready now. She had a meeting with me in her office to go over paperwork and a few minor things that I still needed to do. A few weeks later, Carol had my application packet all ready to send to USDA. A month later, I got the email that would change mine and my kids' life forever. My certificate of eligibility. I will never forget the day I received it. I was at work, and the email popped up as I was talking to one of the doctors I work with, and the waterworks started. I all but fell to my knees, crying and thanking God. The patients and other staff could hear me from exam rooms. I could hear people asking me what was wrong and if I was okay, but I could do nothing but cry and praise God. I felt as if the weight of the world I carried almost all of my life had been lifted for the first time, and couldn't wait to tell my boys we did it. After contacting Kelly Los Quadro with Logan Foster Realtors, I was on my way to finding my forever home. Kelly was the perfect person to team up with because she understood my needs and wants. She knew I was excited and scared at the same time, but she made sure to always reassure me I was in good hands. After sorting through over 20 homes and viewing a few of them, we found a winner. I fell in love with this home the moment I laid eyes on it. It was perfect, a 3-bedroom ranch-style home with a huge backyard. When I went to view the home, my son Amir was with me and took off running in the backyard. It brought me to tears. The smile on his face melted my heart. And even though it needed a little elbow grease, I knew this was a home for us. I'm so thankful to Interfaith Housing Alliance, USDA, and Kelly Los Quadro with Logan Foster Realtors. My faith is strong, and God has blessed me to have had the opportunity to achieve something some people who had gone through what I had never would. Me, a homeowner.
What an inspirational story of courage. And Juliet, you want to stand up? We'd like to all thank you for sharing. And that's really what interfaith housing is about. And people like Dan Ryan, who we're honoring tonight, have made such a difference in people's lives. And knowing you have a safe, affordable place to live is truly priceless, like Juliet now knows, and Juliet's kids. Our next guest is a person near and dear to IHA. Dave Dusev has been involved with IHA since 2002 as a finance committee member, and then joined the board in 2006 until 2011. We have Dan Ryan to thank for introducing Dave to us. Dave was the CFO for Dan Ryan Builders until 2005. Besides his service as a board member, Dave and his family have been extremely generous donors to IHA. Please welcome Dave Dusev.
They're only giving me 45 minutes for this. Well, thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that. And my thanks to all of you for your support for the Interfaith Housing Alliance, past, present, and future. As Carlos mentioned, I was introduced to Interfaith Housing by Dan Ryan. And it happened the way things always happened back in, I guess, the late 90s, early 2000. Dan had been meeting with Jim Upchurch, and I think Jim was trying to get him to be a board member here. That was during a time when Dan Ryan Builders was growing very quickly, so Dan was pretty stretched for time. So he said, well, I don't know that I could do it, but I have this guy that I think could do it. So the next thing I know, I'm in a meeting with Dan and Jim Upchurch, And the two of them can be very persuasive. So I ended up joining the Finance Committee. Well, before I joined, I really didn't know very much about the problems of low-income housing availability or issues surrounding senior housing in rural areas or small towns, and I hadn't even heard the term workforce housing before, but I started to learn. My faith background drew me in too. I really liked the fact that people of different faiths were coming together to identify and solve a problem in the community. And my faith also taught me that those who have an obligation to help those who don't. And it's not charity, it's justice. Well, I stayed involved in interfaith from the late 90s, really, until we moved out of the area 2 years ago. But I didn't stay there that long because I felt a sense of duty, or that I was fighting injustice, or that I had a religious obligation. I found something better here at Interfaith. I got to work with both Jim Upchurch and Tricia Motter, and a wonderful bunch of people on the staff and board. But the thing that I really found was an opportunity to, in a really small way, participate in helping somebody meet a very basic need. Well, I think I'm like a lot of people in that I like to do things that make me feel good. Okay, if something doesn't feel good or I don't see a benefit from it, it's hard to kind of stick with it. And I think probably all of you are maybe a little bit in that same boat. Well, I found something here that made me want to stick. And the thing that I know about myself is that if I'm finding that I'm doing something for me, I get pleasure from it, but the pleasure doesn't last. I have to keep doing it again, or I'm going off doing something else. But I found that if you do something for somebody else, the feeling does last, and it's called joy. Now, we saw joy just a minute ago here in Juliet's story. Interfaith housing helped her to achieve a dream, and you can tell her joy about that is contagious. I think we all feel it. That's the reason I stayed at Interfaith Housing. I got to share in that joy hundreds of times over the years, and I still feel it here today. Well, it's with great pleasure that I get to introduce our special honoree for the evening, Dan Ryan. Most of you know him as a successful businessman. So over the last 26 years, he built Dan Ryan Builders basically from scratch, and now we're in the top, what'd you tell me, 39? Number 39 and 33.
Come on, David.
You know I'd goof it up somehow, right? Number 33 in the country, okay? That's quite an accomplishment. Well, I get to know Dan as a friend. In fact, we've been great friends for the last 24 years. We were children, basically. But in spite of his success, Dan still feels a little uncomfortable when people make a big deal about it. And that humility he has is one of my favorite aspects of his character. Well, Dan was a great boss, and I think he probably still is. He cares deeply about his customers and his employees, and you can still find him out on the job sites talking to the salespeople and the production superintendents, checking out how they are and asking them what we can do to make the Dan Ryan Builders a better company. Well, he cares about his community too. About 15 years ago when I was working for him, I read an article in Builder magazine, and they were honoring their Humanitarian of the Year recipient. I have no idea who the guy was. But they made a big deal about the proportion of earnings that his company had donated to charities and nonprofits and that kind of thing. And it was very impressive. And I remember thinking, well, that's great. You know, this guy really deserves an award. But then I thought, but Dan Ryan Builders gives about 4 times that percentage to charities. Then last year, Builder Magazine named a recipient of their Humanitarian of the Year award. And guess who? Dan Ryan. Dan Ryan. Now, all that's great. The recognition that you get is well deserved, and you know it's a nice thing. But that isn't what drives Dan. What drives him is that joy that we see, and the joy that comes from helping other people. Now, Dan isn't just a friend of mine. For the last at least 18 years, he's been a great friend of Interfaith Housing Alliance. He's been very generous to Interfaith Housing. Actually, they told me that he's the largest individual donor to Interfaith. But he's also extremely generous with his time and his talent. His willingness to share his expertise and his knowledge and his advice have been both critical and invaluable to the success of many of Interfaith's projects. So I'm going to ask Dan to come up here. Come on. And Hugh. Well, as you all know, because of your involvement with Interfaith, there's a new project coming up here in Frederick City called 520 North Market. And it's a property that's going to be converted into 59 apartments. 53 of them are going to be affordable units, and I think 6 are going to be market price. The property was once used as an elementary school, and then the county used it for offices, and it hasn't been used for a couple of years. But this project is really going to re-energize a block of downtown Frederick that hasn't been used for several years. Well, this project contains a community room that to show Interfaith's appreciation for your many years of support and your dedication and commitment to the mission of providing affordable housing will be renamed the Dan Ryan Community Room.
Wow.
I love that man.
He loves you too.
Yeah, I really do. Sometimes I feel like George Bailey of It's a Wonderful Life, and I wouldn't be up here today for a lot of people in this room, but specifically 2 people. And one of them is Dave Dosa. And for many, many years at Dan Ryan Builders, it was the Dan and Dave show. And we were a little bit like, we couldn't have been any more different. Dave is very articulate. He's a kind man. But it was an absolutely wonderful journey with Dave Dosa. And he has made such a difference to me, to my company, to Frederick, and to a lot of people. So thank you, Dave. The other guy is my dad. And son of a gun if he didn't show up today. My dad taught me a lot of things, but he taught me how to run a home building business, and I thank him for that, because it afforded me a lot of opportunities. And but the biggest thing my dad taught me was how to give and how to serve the community. And I can remember as a kid going with my dad to stand up, Dad. Talk on it. He wants the microphone. I know he does. I remember going into Baltimore City and visiting a guy by the name of Vinnie Quayle of St. Ambrose, who built affordable housing in Baltimore. And here I am, 30 years later, in Frederick County, Maryland. Frederick County, do you know that there are 10,500 people below the poverty level in affluent Frederick County? And Dad, I can't tell you how much I love you and how much I appreciate you teaching me how to build houses and to run a home building company, but even more importantly, to serve the community. And I hope I'm doing it. But what a... But I want to thank everyone here, and I challenge everyone in this room to make a difference and to feel the joy that Dave Dosa talked about. And God, it seems like yesterday that Dave and I were talking to Bishop Frank Murphy, and Big Jim Upchurch took the torch, and how many meetings we were in with him. I think this is a better run organization today than ever before. Tricia Motter has done a terrific job. The leadership team that Tricia has put together, Ron and Hugh and Valerie, and the whole interfaith housing group really makes a difference. Hugh said, why do you support interfaith housing? And at the end of the day, it's two reasons. One is there's a huge need in Frederick County. You know, we're in the same business. Interfaith Housing and I are in the same bit. We build shelter. That's what Dan Ryan Builders do. We build shelter for people. And there's such a need for low-income, affordable housing right here in Frederick County. So the need is tremendous. The second reason is Interfaith Housing knows what they're doing. And I tell you what, how lucky am I? I get to build homes for a profit, most of the time. Interfaith Housing builds homes to serve the community. And to me, that makes a big difference that the organization spends my money well, by the way. I would not be a supporter of interfaith housing if you didn't do a good job. And these folks do a good job. And I'm really excited about 520 North Market Street, St. Clair. 53 affordable apartments are going up right now. By the end of the year, St. Clair, 71 townhomes are going up right here in Frederick County. It's been a long time since affordable housing has made, and interfaith housing has made this much of an impact in Frederick County. And from what I understand, Hugh, the word's on the street. It really is. There's a lot of good things going on, and I challenge this group, and I challenge interfaith housing to keep it going. Because trust me, you're going in the right direction. So it is an honor being here, and I love Frederick County. And I was talking to Beth over here, and who came from Charlottesville a few years ago, and she said, "Boy, the hospitality of Frederick County is unparalleled to anywhere she's lived." And I couldn't agree with you more. This is a wonderful place to live, and it's our hometown. So let's support our hometown. Thank you all.
What an inspiration. You're an amazing guy. And we're so lucky that you're here. And wait, I'm going to come. See what they're saying. You raised a great guy. You did a good job. Okay, so it's hard to get back on track here, but next we're going to have the new chairman of the board, Bruce Zavis. Now I know some people think it's Zavos, but it's Zavis. I checked tonight. I know Bruce well, and I have been saying his name wrong for many, many years. He joined the board and is now the new chair. He's also chairman of the Frederick County's Affordable Housing Council. He's in the Noon Rotary. He also serves on the Habitat for Humanity's board, and in his spare time, he is principal of Zavis Architecture and Design. His firm is the architect of both 520 North Market and Sinclair Way, IHA's newest communities in Frederick County. Please welcome Bruce.
Great. Thank you very much, Carlos, for that nice intro and getting my name correct. That's fantastic. We do have a gift for you before you go. We are giving out pens that were handcrafted from the elm tree that stood at the old location of IHA. That tree stood for 100 years. And these pens are made from that tree. So Hugh's got that for you as well. So again, thank you very much for your advocacy. I've been told to keep this short, but we have a lot of people to thank, so I'll try to speak quickly and bring this thing to a close. But what makes IHA able to provide affordable housing, opportunities and supportive services that improve the quality of life and economic stability for seniors, working families, and individuals? It's all of you. Your donations, support, and influence allow IHA to help revitalize communities. These housing opportunities IHA has and will be creating are vital to our community and underpin robust, diverse, and thriving communities. Tonight we would like to recognize and express our heartfelt thanks to all of you and specifically our partners. Reverend Hahn, a foundational member who was here from the start. Would you stand up? One of our newest partners, Yemi, who spoke previously, who is helping us to build the future. Yemi. NCAL, our government contract partner through USDA, who has helped us build over 225 homes. Jill Lorden, the Self-Help Housing Director, has been a part of our history for over 23 years. Is she here tonight? There you go. Thank you. While we do home ownership, we also build rental communities for families, individuals, and seniors. This type of building does not happen without strong development partners like Conifer and Pearl Development. We are excited to be working with Conifer on Sinclair Way, 71 units of affordable housing on West Patrick Street, and are thrilled to be working on our 5th community with Pearl at 520 North Market Street. 520 is a model public-private partnership providing 59 new workforce housing units right here in downtown Frederick. IHA works with municipalities across 6 counties in Maryland and 2 in Pennsylvania. Affordable housing would not happen without their support. Tonight, we would also like to recognize County Executive Jan Gardner. And then Juliet, who you met earlier, is here to represent the lives that you have helped us change. Please accept this pen so that you can write a different future for your sons Amir and Xavier. In recognition of their long-term service and commitment to IHA, we would not have been able to successfully fulfill our mission without board members Reverend Marilyn Washburn, Dave Dosef, Mark Lancaster, and Patrick Haley, our outgoing chair. So they could all stand up together. And everyone should have a donor like Dan Ryan. He's been a business partner. He's introduced us to great board members. He's offered challenge grants. He is one of a kind. IHA has had 2 CEOs in our history. We will be sending one of these pens to Jim Upchurch, who is retired in Florida. And this organization would not be what it is today without the leadership of Tricia Motter. Tricia joined us 8 years ago in the midst of a housing crisis, which everybody, I think, remembers well, and helped us redefine how we achieve our mission. She opened the door to new partnerships and brought tens of millions of dollars in funding to build housing in our communities. She had the vision to expand supportive services and programs that really touch people's lives. IHA is a thriving and growing at a record pace, and our future looks very bright because of Tricia's guidance. Of course, Tricia cannot do this alone. She has assembled a terrific and supportive staff, so a big thank you to IHA's wonderful staff, particularly Robin Payek for organizing this wonderful event, and if they could all stand up, that would be great. While much has been accomplished in the past 25 years, please know that there's much more to do. We need you and we depend on you. As IHA's accomplishments demonstrate, you make the difference. In closing, I would like to have the following stand and remain standing in recognition of their contributions. So clients, homeowners, residents, and family and friends, please stand. Okay. Current and past board members and spouses. Current and past staff members and spouses. Current or past IHA council members. Tonight's sponsors. I'm going to get to everybody's. Donors or funders, past and present. Builder development partners. Community partners. Business partners. Volunteers. Frederick County Building Industry Association members, affordable housing advocates, and if anybody's been sitting, tell me what you do. So when you look around, you see that it really does take a village to really do the work that IHA does. We are very glad that you have come and joined us for this 25th anniversary, and we hope to see you at the next celebration, hopefully sooner than 25 years. Thank you for coming to our celebration. distinct honor of picking the drawing for the 4-night stay at Bay House is donated by Terry Kernan. There you go. All right. Beth Farlow. There you go. And also I was told, don't forget to take your cookie.